So I've worked remotely for 10 plus years, and I learned a lot of things the hard way about how to be productive, how to be healthy, and how to get the most out of working from home. So to save you a lot of the headaches, I'm just going to go ahead and give you like basically 10 plus years of experience in this short video. So whether you have a business or a job, or you're just working from home on the side, this will help you be healthier, more productive, etc. So one thing I would recommend that I waited way too long to do is getting a standing desk. It's hard to tell I'm using a standing desk right now because I'm sitting on a stool, and there are reasons for that. It has to do with the recording and keeping certain things out of the frame. It's hard to do a standing desk while recording based on the location of where my desk is. But most of the day, if I am not recording, I am using the desk at its higher elevation. The reason for that is, one, we've had studies come out about it being healthier and how sitting is basically the new smoking. And I just feel better. I feel like it helps your energy levels a lot. A lot of people joke with me about how they like fall asleep when they're just sitting down all day at a computer. I think it helps keep your blood flow throughout your body. It helps you be healthier, and it helps keep you awake. Now, for certain deep thinking, maybe I will sit down, or after a while I will sit down. Another thing is, I believe it's more important to have an adjustable desk than one that's just standing all the time. You could probably save a little money by creating one yourself like I did one time, or buying a cheap one on Amazon that's just standing only. But the problem is you will probably get tired, and then you'll probably want to buy some sort of like foot cushion type of thing, or something that helps with your back pain. Well, instead of that, just have something like a standing desk. I have two that are actually put together right here. I got them on Amazon. I'll link them in the video. But they have 3 settings, and then you just save the settings for which heights that you use the most. You click a button and it goes to the exact height that you want. I believe this will make a huge difference in how you feel throughout the day and how much healthier you will feel throughout your life in general. But you don't have to suffer and stand all day, but you don't need to sit all day either. I believe it's good to, probably start your day standing, do most of the stuff that you can while standing, and then you might sit down the last couple hours of the day just to give yourself a bit of a rest and make sure you don't get any sort of back pain. Another thing I would recommend is putting your desk by a window. Now, a lot of people may not have this option, but if you do have the option, I want to encourage you to give it a shot. Now, you may have to get certain dark curtains like I have. Now, you might not realize that I'm next to a window, but I can open up the curtains like this, and then you can see natural light coming in. But I don't do that most of the time, of course, because that ruins the recording quality, and I can't keep the light consistent if I have that open. So I have to have dark curtains. But I recommend doing this because it helps to get sunlight in your eyes every day, to get a bright light in your eyes. Like you will see all these podcasters and life hackers, or people that have like a 3-hour morning routine that people like to make fun of, where they're like, well, I get up and I go on a walk and I do meditation and I do a cold plunge and then I do sauna. Well, pretty much all of them say something about how getting sunlight in your eyes early in the day is very helpful for your sleep quality, for getting things done, for waking up, for your mood, things like that. So I believe that if you can work next to a window, it also gives you something else to look at other than a screen. That can help you quite a bit. Another thing to do, which helps if you are by a window, but there are a few other methods that you could do, is looking at something really far away with your eyes every so often throughout the day. So every few minutes, what I will do is I will look up. It really helps to have a standing desk by a window to do this. I will look up and I will try to look at something across the street that's kind of far away. So I will look at, say, a mailbox across the street, and I can read the tiny number for the house on that mailbox, and it helps me kind of see that my eyes are still focusing well, my eyes aren't too tired. If I get to the point throughout the day where that number starts to get a little blurry, I know my eyes are getting tired, and I've probably been staring at a screen right in front of my face too long. So you may not have that exact situation. You may even work where you have a TV across the room if you can't be by a window. And you can maybe just look up at the TV, have it on silent, have like some background movies. I know some people, like I believe like Neil Patel, who's who's been a long time marketer and content creator, used to watch movies in the background, and that was an interesting strategy. But just give something far away to focus your eyes on. I think it'll help prevent nearsightedness. It may not fully prevent it if it's something that runs in your family, but I do really believe in preserving your eyes when you're working on a computer or anything like that. The nice thing about working from home is you have more say in where your desk is and being able to take care of your health a little bit better while you're working. I also recommend having dual monitors or maybe even 3 monitors. I usually have 3 monitors at the same time. So for instance, I might use one small monitor like I am right now for reading a script or reading an outline for a video so I don't get too off track, which I tend to do. And then I'll have like my 2 main monitors, my big monitors for editing, AI, for most of my, writing tasks and things throughout the day that I'm doing most of the time. But I would say at least have a dual monitor because it really improves your productivity quite a bit. And you don't have to rely on your company to supply the equipment since you are working remotely. So you can add pretty much as many monitors as you want. I don't think I've ever seen a remote company require you to have a maximum number of monitors. So having more monitors, maybe not too many, maybe not more than like 3 or 4. That might be overkill depending on your job, but at least a couple to where you can work much faster, drag and drop things faster, copy and paste, etc. Another thing I would recommend if you're going to work from home is leave your phone in the other room. This is still to this day one of my biggest issues is getting distracted by my phone. Now, some of my work can be done on my phone. I do a lot of brainstorming, and a lot of times I'll use my phone for parts of that brainstorming because my brain is just constantly coming up with ideas. Well, the problem with that is you have so many apps. You might have mobile games, you might have YouTube, you might have social media, all sorts of other things, your text messages, whatever, distracting you all the time on your phone. Your phone is very hard to avoid when it comes to distractions. Like the problem is we are training ourselves with smartphones to have a shorter and shorter attention span and become addicted to all these different apps. I believe it'll really boost your productivity if you just leave your phone in the other room. If you're worried about getting important notifications, you can either sync your phone with your PC and get notifications through your PC, or you can use a smartwatch. Another thing I would recommend is not eating a bunch of carbs, especially carbs that don't have fiber, in the morning or in the middle of the day. Basically, before and during work hours, I would avoid simple carbs. So a lot of rice, white bread, pasta, flour, any of that kind of stuff, sugar, that kind of stuff will kill your energy levels very quickly, especially if you're sitting down a lot. So I would recommend not doing that. Otherwise, you might have to down gallons of coffee or Red Bull or something to counteract it to keep your energy from crashing. But that's obviously not a healthy thing to do. So if you want to have solid energy levels and actually be productive throughout your day, I would recommend eating mostly protein and fat and avoiding carbs that don't have much fiber throughout the day. Number 7 seems kind of obvious, but if you have pets, or if you have kids, or if you have roommates, or people you live with, whatever your situation is where you live, I really recommend having a separate room for your office. It's really going to help you eliminate distractions. Obviously, as someone who creates videos, it's extremely important to be able to block out the sound of different parts of the house. So I need to eliminate distractions, and I have everything in one room, as you can see. But not everybody has that option. Whether it's in an apartment, a home, a room in another house that you're renting, whatever your situation is though, try and have if you can, have a quiet, dedicated room free of distractions. I sound like somebody who's writing a job listing, but it really does help quite a bit. Another thing is it helps your brain associate that space with work. Your brain is very trainable in good and bad ways. You associate things based on your daily habits. So if you like work and you play video games on the same PC in the same space, it can kind of confuse your brain sometimes and you might get distracted. But if you have like a dedicated workspace and you kind of dedicate your computer mostly to work during these particular hours, When you walk into that space, your brain kind of flips that productivity switch, and then you could get more done. I also recommend listening to instrumental music while you're working. Obviously, working at home, you have more freedom usually to what you do while you're working. I've never had good luck watching TV or having movies on or really any music that has words in it that distracts me. Now, maybe that's my issue. Maybe that's just the way I'm wired. But for me, instrumental music can block out other noise and help me focus at times. So that might be different for everyone, what kind of instrumental you like. So for me, during the day, I like faster pace. At night, I usually like slower pace. So during the day, I'm working. I like to listen to, say, synthwave, metal, symphony, orchestra, stuff that's a little bit faster paced, even like video game music sometimes, depending on the soundtrack. I like a lot of movie soundtracks like Hans Zimmer or somebody like that. These types of things help me work and focus, especially if I'm starting to get bored or if I'm hearing outside noises that are distracting. Another thing I would recommend doing if you can, I know this actually just changed recently and just became harder the last few months because of the cost of RAM and other PC parts that just went up. But building your own PC, if you do a lot of AI, video editing, creative work that requires a lot of memory or a lot of resources from your computer, it can save you a lot of money and you can get exactly what you need for less money by building your own PC. There are plenty of YouTube videos on how to do it. I did it myself. I was nervous. I'd always just bought a pre-built one. But for my type of work, video editing and AI both consume a lot of RAM. And so I decided to build my own PC and it ended up being a great idea. And you can use it for so many different things. You might even want to try other creative projects down the road just because you have the power to do it. And last but not least, I would recommend setting hard cutoff times. You might even want to use Google Calendar or your phone to remind you to stop working at times. Like I've had to do that in the past where the problem is you are working at home. You are also hanging out at home. So your work is always home with you. Like you hear about people like work-life balance and don't take your work home with you. That's really hard to do when you work from home. That's one of the few downsides of working from home is your work is always home with you. You can always do one more assignment or check your email or work a little bit later just to get ahead. And then you end up having terrible work-life balance because you never stop working or you don't give yourself enough time to rest and recharge. So try and set some sort of cutoff time no matter what, no matter where you are, certain days of the week, every day of the week, whether it's job hours where everything is already kind of set up for you, or if you're a business owner, it's even tougher because you're the one that has to set those hours. So these are just some of the things that helped me. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.